tell you like a funny story, which is I had a student in Barcelona who was with a girl for like most of the night and going really well, and then girl went to the bathroom and said she'd come back, and he just trusted that she'd come back. I'm like, that's a mistake. And then it took a while, she wasn't coming back. I'm like, all right. He's like, I give up. If she didn't come back, then it wasn't. I'm like, let's go check on her. So we go check. She's talking to some guy right outside the bathroom because some guy just approached her there, right? And so she probably was on her way back, got intercepted, whatever. And the guy's doing a good job. So now my student's like super, super intimidated, right? Doesn't know how to open, what to do. I told him, just like, imagine she was your girlfriend and go over and just walk over and put your arm around her like you would if she was your girlfriend. And watch like 90% the guy's just gonna melt, right? Because I knew it was a cold approach. So he did that. He was like, hey honey. And the guy's like, oh, okay, bye. Didn't even like question it, didn't even whatever, just on like him putting the arm around without even like barely a reaction from her, just immediately left because the guy got caught doing game. Meanwhile, he was doing fine. The girl was into him and he had a legitimate chance. And a lot of guys do that. They leave immediately, and they leave in a situation where it was her brother or her friend from work or something like that, or it's her parents that are not gonna, her family isn't gonna judge us. Like, oh, here's a fun social guy. As long as it looks like it's going well, which it did there, you're not doing anything wrong, right? But as soon as you're like, oh shit, I was doing something wrong, no, now you are. Now you just turned yourself in. You know what I mean?
Got it.
Yeah. But your assumption should be like, I'm being a cool social guy. You're being social and giving someone an opportunity to make a new friend or more. That's what you're essentially doing. Here's the mentality I want you guys to have. A couple mentalities, a couple understandings I want you to have, because you're starting to be very attractive guys and get, we're doing the push-pull stuff, we're getting the attraction stuff, we're being high-value guys. But once you are there, a couple of things you need to understand. Number one, attraction can happen very fast, but like sex or building a relationship doesn't happen that fast. It used to be, they said 4 to 10 hours between meeting and having sex, that kind of thing. So if the girl's really attracted to you in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you still have to spend that time to build comfort, for her to have a longer history of knowing you, of seeing that you are that cool guy, etc.
Yeah.
And so you need to keep being cool, but you also need to be a little bit persistent. And there will be lulls. There'll be that time you go buy the drink with the girl at the bar, and like, because you're trying to get the bartender's attention, you have a lull where there's no conversation, and then you have to restart it. These things are going to happen. It's not a Hollywood fairy tale. It's not like genius written banter the entire time, okay? So you need to roll with those punches, and sometimes you need to be persistent. Sometimes you need to even be a little bit needy. You need to understand the pros and the cons, okay? And the mentality I want you to have is this: you are an attractive man. You are a very attractive man, okay? I want you to know that, but know that she doesn't know everything about you yet. Right? She needs time with you to fully understand and fully appreciate that. And the longer she spends with you, the more she's going to like you. And so if you have to do something a little bit needy in order to spend a lot more time with her, and in that lot more time you're going to be really, really attractive, that's actually a net good thing, right? So if she's going somewhere, you're like, hey, I'll walk with you. And yeah, it looks like you're needy, it looks like you're following, but in doing that, you're getting 20 more minutes of her seeing how awesome you are. That 20 minutes is going to overcome that 3 seconds of neediness. Does that make sense? Or when, she's getting in the Uber and you can be like, okay, well, I don't want to be needy and try for something. Or you can try something and get her to go to the bar. If you get her to go to the bar, you get 45 more minutes of conveying how attractive you are and getting more history with her. And so the trade-off is really, really worth it, assuming you're an attractive guy. You need to have that confidence, that belief in your future self, that you are going to do that. The other thing I want you to do is, throughout the night, you're talking to a variety of girls, and at a certain point, when you like a girl, she likes you, I want you to just lock on and decide, this is the one. This is my best option for tonight. And my goal at that point is to walk out of the club with her, to end up back at some place with her, right? That is my goal, right? And sometimes what'll happen is you spend all night with her and you think that's gonna happen, and at the end it's not possible, and you take a phone number and you didn't pull. But you got a really solid phone number, and also you did the right thing. You did the high percentage thing for what you're doing. You played to win. You need to actually latch on and do that. It's very easy, especially when you're new to succeeding a lot in game. It's very easy to like walk away and be like, oh, I got a number that feels like a win. I got a number that feels like a win. Oh, I tried to take the girl home and it didn't go all the way and I settled for a number that feels like a loss. Which ironically, a weaker number an hour earlier would have felt like a win. Don't try and judge based on what feels like a win and a loss. Try and judge based on what is a win and a loss, and also what is you truly doing what you know to be best and truly trusting and believing in yourself, okay? Don't take the cheap victory. Put yourself in an awkward situation sometimes and figure it out. Because what will happen as you start to learn to take girls home, instead of the girl going in the Uber, she'll go to a diner with you. And you get to the diner and you won't know what to talk about and it'll peter out and it'll go nowhere, but at least you got her that step. And then eventually you'll get used to that and you'll do a better job at the diner, and sometimes she'll go home with you, sometimes she won't. right? And eventually it'll get better, and eventually instead of the diner, you'll be taking her to another bar, and then eventually you'll be escalating, and eventually things will be going all the way. But you need to be putting yourself in those awkward situations to figure it out. Or occasionally she's like, oh, I'm going to this part of town. Be like, yeah, I'll hop in with you and just see. And sometimes you Uber back to that part of town with her, and she goes, okay, bye, and you're like, okay, bye, and you're like, fuck, I have to take a 20-minute Uber back. And it kind of sucks, and it's kind of awkward. But you got 20 more minutes of being with her, and you gave yourself a chance. Some of the most epic stories I've ever had in my life started with, I got in an Uber with a girl, we kind of liked each other, I wasn't sure where it was going to go, and then good things happened, right? And some of those stories end with, and then I got to her place, and then she went upstairs, and I Ubered back, and I had to contemplate life on the Uber back. The pros outweigh the cons, both in terms of the amazing experiences and the possibility, and also maybe equally as importantly in terms of the learning. I want you to start putting yourself in those situations to problem solve. Eventually the situations that seem very awkward are going to seem very normal for you, right? Actually, this happened with you last night, right? Why was it that I was able to have the leverage to get her to go, whereas you didn't after all that time? It's not because she liked me more.
I think it's because you decided.
I decided, and I knew what to say.
Yeah.
I knew how to frame it, right? And why do I know how to frame it? Because I tried over and over and over again and failed a bunch of times and succeeded a bunch of times, and now I know, right? And so that's why I can do it. And this happens all the time with students. Like, they have a girl in love with them and can't get her home. I talk to her for 2 minutes, they go home with the student, right? Because I knew the magic words. But I knew the magic words because of failing a lot and figuring it out and trial and error. So you need to subject yourself to that. Part of game is being attractive, right? But if it's 10 hours or 7 hours or whatever to sleep with a girl, or even 4 hours, the part to attract the girl takes like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. The rest of game is problem solving, figuring out logistics, building comfort, that kind of stuff. So you need to put yourself in those less exciting parts of game and in those problem solving parts of game to actually get a result. Because that's what's going to take you from good game, which is where you guys are starting to be now, right? You guys are starting to consistently have good sets where girls are attracted to you. But between good game and effective game is sticking in, problem solving, putting yourself in those awkward situations and figuring it out. So that's what I want to encourage you guys to do, okay? The other challenge you guys had at the start of the program, which I'm much more confident about now, but is I'm gonna have you guys do some self-directed approaches. And then we're gonna run into the classroom, we're gonna break down the infield video of you guys that we did. We're gonna stop it, start it, rewind it, and break down every little nuance of your game at that point, okay? Good stuff, guys. You owe me 2 self-directed, and then I'll see you guys for the breakdown. This whole weekend, in a way, theory-wise and information-wise and experience-wise, you are truly drinking out of a fire hose, right? You've had tons and tons of approaches, tons and tons of stuff thrown at you, tons of experiences, and you'll have consistent stuff you're hearing, but then you'll hear some random off-topic thing that you had as a sticking point in one particular set that may help you later, but it's not your normal sticking point, right? So you've had a lot of information thrown at you. What I would encourage you to do as a learning process post-bootcamp, whenever you go out, try to 90 to 95% just go out, play to win, and enjoy game. 5 to 10% work on a specific thing. And don't try and fix 10 things in one night out. Try and fix one specific thing that you've honed in as like your biggest thing to focus on right now. And if you get that one thing down, you're happy. Don't worry about the other stuff. Does that kind of make sense? Yeah. Beyond that, just do your best. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Number one, you can't your human brain cannot focus on 10 different things at once. You just can't, right? And if you do that, you're overwhelming yourself and other things are gonna fall apart. But beyond that, if you're mostly doing your best game and then you're trying this 5 to 10% to improve, you're attempting to improve that 5 to 10% in sets that are already going well, and you have a chance. Whereas if you try to do change 10 things at once, all 10 of them are getting an unfair chance because they're being tested amid 9 other things that probably don't work, that are new for you, and it's hard to assess, is this the thing that failed or is it this other thing that failed? You need to run good science experiments, right? A good science experiment is you keep all the variables the same except for one, and then you go and keep all the variables the same except for one the next time. Does that make sense? So work on one thing at a time, and don't worry about the rest of it. And the nice thing about that is most of these things, while they are important, they're not so critically important that individually just messing them up will ruin the whole set. Right, so like you're talking about walking in front of the girl in the open. Very important for getting a good set. But if you went out one night and you never once walked in front of the girl in the open, you would get more blowouts on the open than you should. But you would still get some sets to work, and if you did everything else right, you could pull. So it's important, but it's not absolute make or break by itself in absence of everything else, right? Or for example, if you're not leading enough, right? That's pretty damn important. But if you're doing a lot of other things, like not logistically leading enough, let's say, but if you're doing enough other things right, like you are verbally escalating and you are physically escalating and you're being very charming, you may just get away with the girl solving the logistics for you at the end of the night. Or you may just find a situation at the end of the night where the girl just keeps lingering around you and lingering around you until deleting almost has to happen, right? So if you do most things right and mess one thing up, you'll be fine. And so just work on one thing at a time and be patient with yourself. You are not going to solve everything next week. It's not going to happen, right? Your goal is to get a little better each and every time you go out consistently, so that each and every one of you guys, if I were to see you a week from now, your game's probably going to look pretty similar to how it looks today. If I were to see you 6 months from now, your game is going to look so completely and utterly different and better than it does today that it's going to be unrecognizable. That's the goal for you guys. Does that make sense?
Yeah.